Hi, I'm Euge Valovirta, and this one is about the classic, legendary 88 MP-1 preamp from the 80s. Yeah, little bit Noodling. Yeah, 88 MP-1 preamp from the 80s. I don't know what year it is, but it's the original. The only thing that it's done to it afterwards, the battery has been changed to the, what's inside that keeps the thing, going, so it remembers all the stuff. And then the line input in the back has been changed to instrument input, and there's the noise mode, so it's a lot more silent than what these were, so it's pretty damn silent. First, before we continue, the signal chain and the stuff I used on the song. It was a older song of mine which I've never actually released. Maybe I should, because it's pretty good. So it's one of my ESP signature, Japan custom shop ESPs with EMG 81 and 85. Then the signal goes to my pedal board, where I only used a Bus G7 EQ just to boost certain frequencies a little bit into the 88. Then from the pedal board, the signal goes to a direct box. That's only like through now. I'm not recording any DI from the direct box out, it goes to this CYHRA audio electronics amp switcher. Then all the amps are connected here. Output number 4 goes to the input of the ADA, which is behind. Then out from the ADA, it goes to the effect loop return of Marshall JCM800 TSL. So it goes directly to the power amp. So only controls that functions are presence, and the effect mix kind of acts like a volume, and then the resonance or deep switch, which I have on. It gives this nice thump. From the speaker out, it goes back to CYHRA, and then from the CYHRA it goes to Sandrock's React-IR, reactive load / cab attenuator. And I'm only using the cab attenuator. I mean, it's now like 2 o'clock, so it's really loud, but it's taming it just a little bit so that I don't lose my hearing or whatever. From the attenuator out, it goes to the Marshall 9060BX cabinet where I have Greenbacks and V30s. Now the SM57, that's miking the Greenback. The Audix i5, which is kind of their take on the 57, and SE Electronics VR1 ribbon mic, they are in front of the V30. So the sound you hear, it's a blend. It's mostly the i5 and the V30, and then I blended in a little bit to the ribbon mic to get a little bit low and a little bit of that greenback and kind of low mid thing. But the main is the i5 and the V30. The other just enhance, and it was exactly the same blend I used on the song. I doubled the rhythm guitar afterwards, and then I changed the blend so that these kind of opposite. So on the right side, the Greenback with the 57 was a little bit louder than the V30, just to give more harmonic content or whatever. And then to the lead part, I just panned it to the center, and there was a little bit of delay and eventide. H949 plugin just to give it a little bit more spread. And that was it. But yeah, the ADA, you know, I was born in the late 70s. I remember when these came out, many guitar players used these, and one of the most famous producers to use these, and in general, Michael Wagner, who has produced so many great albums. He was involved in so many great 80s rock and metal albums. And he used, or the guitar players he produced, Nuno Perengurt used MP-1 on a Extremes Pornography. Valovirta used on White Lions, was the second album and third album, I guess. And then Skid Row, first album. And the funny thing is that they all used Michael Wagner's exact same setting, but they still sounded totally different because, you know, the sound is here. And I read about Michael Wagner posted on some forum what were the settings and the gear. So they used a Furman PQ3 EQ in front. I think it was just a little bit mid boost and high end boost. Pretty much the same I have on my EQ now. And then into ADA, and then they used a McIntosh power amp. And obviously, you know, mix bus, whatever EQing was going, you know, so that was the thing. But anyway, what I have now, so it's basically a kind of like a 3-channel amp. So there's 2 preamp tubes inside, and then there's like 3 voicing modes. Distortion, which has both tubes, and then clean, which has, I think, both tubes, but they're not so distorted, and then solid state, which doesn't use tubes at all. So let me go through these settings. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Maybe I need to zoom this, but I'll try to explain. So there's these blue knobs, and it's a little bit, I'm used to dialing knobs, but the way you do it, you press edit, then there's overdrive 1, overdrive 2, master gain, bass, middle, treble, presence, effect loop on, off, and then there's chorus inside, and the voicing. So overdrive 1, the overdrive 1 is what happens before the tubes. Basically how hard you hit the tubes, kind of like overdrive pedal. And these go from 0 to 10. So I had it on 4, so it pushes the tubes a little bit. Then overdrive 2, that's kind of what that is what happens inside the tubes, like a kind of like a preamp, your basic gain. So with overdrive 1 you determine how hard you hit the tubes, and then with overdrive 2 you can dial how much the tubes distort. So these two works together. So you can get really aggressive, hard-hitting tone with a little bit more fuller. I think I have like a golden middle ground. This is overdrive 1 is 4, overdrive 2 is 5.5. And the master gain, this is like a volume. Because you can dial like, I don't know, 100, 200, whatever preset. So with this you determine the relationship between the preset, like lead volume, lead boost, lead preset, whatever. And I think, because I tried this, I tweaked this a bit, so I found it that the higher this is and the lower this actual output level knob, this is just the volume, I feel it sounds a little bit fuller. Instead, if I would have this, let's say, on 3 and then crank this, I don't know, but maybe it's just me, I kind of felt that I wanted to have this, because this goes to 10. So now it's 7.5, so there's still room, if I would have a separate lead sound, which I don't. So that's that. And then bass, this goes from -12 to +12. I have it on 6, mids 0, treble 6, presence 10, effect loop off, no chorus. And then the preset 2, well, let me go through these now. So now I have the EQ on. Check what happens when I turn it off. So what I'm boosting is a little bit of 800 and a tiny amount of 3.2 and 6.4K and tiny amount of level in. I think they both sound with and without, it works. I just felt like I was missing a little bit. I wasn't missing SD1, but I was missing a little bit of more mids in, because depending on what kind of signal the whatever amp gets, it depends on, determines how it behaves. So I just felt that this behaves better to me when I just boost the EQ a little bit. And that was what Michael Wagner did. I don't know what they were boosting or whatever, but I would guess usually if you boost something in front of an amp, usually it's a mids and maybe some highs a little bit. Okay, then the channel 2, like the cleaner tubes. This is kind of like in 800 plexi kind of territory gain wise. So with this I would probably boost this with an SD1. And the gain is again same, so there's plenty of more gain, but it's cool that, different characters, clean tube, distorted tube, but obviously the clean tube will distort like you hear. Just more open and cleans nicely. Then the third kind of channel, that's a clean channel. And what is interesting, what I noticed, I didn't know that with these ones is there's no tubes. The overdrive 1 knob actually changes to compressor, which is pretty cool. So you can get these, let me put a chorus on, the chorus ensemble here. Check this out. Since there's no tubes, this pretty much stays clean, even on high output EMGs. Then there's the chorus inside, which I didn't actually like that much, because I've been using the chorus ensemble since 90s, always in front. But obviously this, I think this is after the preamp, so kind of in an effect loop, because it goes to the power amp. But let's check out the chorus. Okay. So this is the depth. There's no rate, so you can kind of simulate a little bit like stereo widening thing. You can run this in stereo, there's 2 out, but I'm running this mono. Usually then it will be a lot bigger, so you can kind of have this cool, you know, 80s stereo chorus tone. Then let's check out the rate. So 0.1, it's all already quite heavy. I mean, it's okay, but I don't really, I mean, I much more prefer good old bass chorus ensemble in front. Listen. And you know, classic. I played one note wrong, realized. It's this instead of F sharp, not G. Anyway, very familiar sound, because I think this kinda was designed to be kinda like, you know, Roland JCM800, which is a solid state amplifier with a built-in chorus. But that built-in chorus is, you know, Roland Boss chorus. This chorus, in my opinion, isn't that good sounding. I much more prefer the chorus ensemble in front. A really cool amp, and like I said, you can store many presets. I just did 4, so the clean, and then this kind of one that I used to the kind of that. EQ really brings out the kind of the, check out this kind of classic Nuno style, you know, muted hammer-ons. When I kick in the EQ, listen. Yeah, it adds a little bit more gain because it boosts the mids, but it makes this. So I can see why Michael Wagner and, you know, used on, you know, and those guys used an EQ in front. I think it just adds some clarity and presence and that, because this has a kind of the high is kind of like, it's kind of like nice, kind of sandy. This is a little bit like two-dimensional. Let's compare it to 800 with EL34s, because this has, so it's a little bit two-dimensional, but it's really percussive and two-dimensional in a good way. 800. So first the 88. And the 800. You heard what I meant with the 3D, really full. And this is like really percussive and sharp and 2D like, but in a good way. But if you found these are on the market. I found mine at Reverb. Thanks a lot, Savas. I promised I mention you. So he has a store in Reverb, a Greek guy. He has quite a lot of really cool vintage gear. So I'll put a link in the description to his Reverb page where you can maybe see if there's something that interests you or if there's anything left, because I snagged mine quite quickly after he put it on sale. So thanks you again. Great service, great guy, you know, trustworthy. This works great. Like he said, absolutely fantastic. I really enjoy playing with this amp. It's kind of quite a bit different than my favorite amp 800, but this definitely is now one of my favorites too, for that really percussive, distinctive attack. Hey, hopefully you found this interesting and informative. Until next time, yeah, please remember to thumbs up, subscribe, you know the drill. Anyway, all the best, take care, bye.